All right, what is up, YouTube? So today I'm super excited to bring you guys this video because this is information I wish that I had when I was the person on the left. And I really think it's going to be super informative for you guys. I think a lot of you guys who were in this position are going to take a lot of information from this and be able to apply it to your life today or tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, in order to get to the best version of yourself physically and mentally. So, today, as you can see by the title, we're going to go from how to go from skinny to ripped, or from twig to jacked, or from stick figure to handsome, right? That's what we're going to go over today. So, if you look at me on the left right here, this was 2015 or 2016, I believe. But I was around 15, 16 at the time, 110 pounds, freshman in high school, super skinny, super insecure, had a hard time talking to girls, and now this is me on the right. You can totally tell the difference. Obviously, in this left picture, I'm wearing 4 pairs of pants. I was that skinny, and now I'm here on the right, super confident, uh, just a handsome guy, right? Objectively handsome. And I'm not saying that to brag or to have an ego, right? But I'm showing this to you guys to show you guys that you don't have to accept where you're at right now or how you feel about yourself, right? You can change that, but you have to become the person that you really wanted to be. I wanted to be that handsome guy, so I did it, right? I put in the work, I put in the time, and I did it. You guys can do it too, and we're going to go over how today. So, what are we doing with skinny to ripped? So, understanding the goal. The main goal is to build muscle and get stronger. To do that, you will need to lift weights and eat more food than you burn. So, if you haven't heard the term yet, calorie surplus, eating more food than you burn. That's how you build muscle. That's how you put on size, right? A lot of us who are skinny, especially myself, super high metabolism. I had to literally force so much food down my stomach just to grow, right? That's unfortunately the part that we have to deal with that sucks. Us skinny guys is having to eat a lot of food because our metabolisms are fast. But on the other hand, once you get jacked, once you get ripped and lean, it's pretty easy to stay there, right? Like it's pretty hard for you to really get overweight or obese. So once you get to that point where you're really happy, it's much easier to maintain it. So we're gonna go down to the training program. We're gonna break it down into two categories: strength training and hypertrophy. So, strength training, lifting weights. To get jacked, you need to build muscle, and that happens through strength training. The more weight you can lift, the more muscle you will build. It's all about getting stronger over time. How are we going to get that? How are we going to achieve that? Compound exercises. These are exercises that work on multiple muscles at once, and they all involve the barbell except pull ups and chin ups. Obviously, you're using a bar that you hang on. But what do we want to focus on for the most part? Squats, deadlifts, bench press, pull ups, chin ups, overhead press. So, right here on the right, you'll see which muscles they target, and you want to hit all of these in your training program, especially if you're super skinny. It's going to be hard for you to build muscle and really put the work in on the accessory movements, which we'll talk about later. But it's really going to be hard for you to pack on muscle if you're still weak, right? You can't put on muscle and be weak. You have to be strong in order to put on the amount of muscle that makes you look, good in clothing and things like that, right? So, strength training, squats, deadlifts, bench press, pull ups, chin ups, overhead press, all compound movements. Want to make sure you're incorporating these into your program. Now, how to train for strength training. Right off the bat, 3, 4 days per week. You don't need to be somebody who lives in the gym 24/7. You don't need to be in the gym 6 or 7 days a week. You don't even need to be there 5 days a week, right? 3 to 4 days is going to get the job done if you train your ass off, right? If you're going 3 days, you definitely want to train harder than you would if you were going 4 or 5 days. But 3 days is all you need. So for those of you that say, "Oh, I don't have time to get to the gym 6 days a week," you don't need to go 6 days. All you need is 72 hours of your week to put in some work, and you'll be fine, right? Not even. Isn't no, not 72 hours. All you need is 3 hours a week, not 72. My bad. All you need is 3 hours a week in order to make good, consistent progress and get muscle on you, right? Lifting heavy, do 3 to 5 sets of each exercise with 1 to 6 reps per set. You have to start heavy enough to feel challenged, but not to failure. You should be able to finish your set with good form. Too many times I see people in the gym who are going way heavier than they can keep their form perfect on, and then that's how you risk injury, and you're not going to make any progress that way, right? You just look dumb. Go in there, lift heavy, but lift heavy enough where you can still do good form and you're not looking like an idiot, all right? That's how you're going to really, really make the most progress. Progressive overload. Over time, make sure you're lifting more weight or doing more reps. This is how you get stronger and build muscle. It's not just adding weight every single week. You can add reps, you can slow down the reps, you can go lighter and do more reps, right? There's many different ways to do progressive overload, but the general rule of thumb is just to make sure you're lifting more or doing more reps. If you're lifting more weight each week, or if you're lifting more weight each week, then you know you're getting stronger. So that's a good sign. Now, we're going to go from strength training to hypertrophy training. Hypertrophy is just another fancy word for growing your muscle. And the best way to do this is through lifting with a focus on strength and volume. So doing more reps, right? What I like to do is incorporate your compound lifts with accessory movements. So your compound lifts are going to be lower reps, and then your accessory movements are going to be higher reps. That's how you're going to get strong and build muscle, aka hypertrophy, at the same time. So, pretty much what I just said here. After doing compound lifts, you're going to add some accessory exercises to hit specific muscles that need more attention, like your bicep curls, your tricep extensions, leg curls, leg extensions, anywhere between 2 to 4 sets. Pretty much the same as up top, right? Anywhere between 2 to 5. Honestly, I would just stick between 2 to 4 for strength and hypertrophy, if I'm being honest. The less sets, the higher the intensity needs to be to cause stimulus. All right. So you can do 2 sets. However, if you do 2 sets, you need to make sure you are training balls to the wall. You're not leaving anything in the tank. You can't just do 2 sets per exercise with no effort and expect to grow. That's not going to happen. The less sets you do, the harder you need to push. I would still push the same way if I was doing 2 sets or 4 sets. So that shouldn't change how you train. But if you are only going to do 2 sets, make sure you're training balls to the wall. Rep range of 8 to 12 most accessory exercises. This range helps muscles grow bigger. So, of course, there's a lot of science between which rep ranges cause the most muscle growth or whatever. I found personally for me that 8 to 12 is where I make the most progress in terms of hypertrophy. Same rules apply in terms of training frequency as strength training. And in order to find the load or the weight that you need to do for your hypertrophy training, you need to take a percentage of your 1 rep max. So your 1 rep max is the heaviest weight that you can lift for any given exercise for 1 rep. And to train for hypertrophy, you should be lifting around 65 to 85% of your 1 rep max. So it's going to take some time for you if you're newer finding your 1 rep max with each exercise, but once you start to get the hang of it, you'll get a little better intuition at which weights you can do 8 to 12 reps, or you'll learn your body a lot more, so you'll be able to tell which weights you can do for how many reps. So that's just something that comes with time. Don't expect to get that right away on your first day. But just an example, if your 1 rep max on the bench press is 200 pounds, you should aim to lift between 130 to 170 pounds for hypertrophy training. Now, now that we got the training out of the way, right? You want, like I said, I'm just going to reiterate, you want to be training balls to the wall. You want to get stronger. You need to be pushing yourself in your training. You can't go in there, do 20 reps, no effort. You're not there trying to lose weight, right? You're not there to do high reps. You're not building muscular endurance. You're not trying to burn more calories. You're there to get strong. You're there to become a man, right? You're there to put on muscle, just become a grown man, right? You have to get strong. You have to push yourself in the gym. You got to do your hypertrophy training. You got to make sure you're going almost failure on your hypertrophy exercises for sure. On your strength exercises, I would be a little bit more cautious, but on hypertrophy, definitely want to be training at least 1 to 2 reps away from failure at the least. Now, we're going to go down to nutrition, which is most people's killer when it comes to making progress, whether it's being from skinny to jacked or from fat to jacked. So, nutrition. To build muscle, you need to eat more food than you burn. Like I mentioned before, calorie surplus. If you don't eat enough, your muscles will not grow. Your body cannot go against the law of thermodynamics, right? If you're not eating enough, if you're burning more calories than you're consuming each day, you're not going to grow. Eat more often. Now, this is obviously subjective. Everybody's life is different. But if you're somebody that needs to eat a shit ton of calories, it's going to be really hard for you to eat 1 or 2 meals a day and get all the calories that you need in those 2 meals. You're probably going to get stuffed. You're not going to feel great. Your body's going to get tired from trying to digest all that food. So, what I would do is I would space it out between 4 to 6 meals per day. Honestly, I'm doing four right now and it works perfectly fine, eating around 3,000 calories. So, if you need to eat a little bit above that, 4 to 5 honestly is really effective. Six if you have the time or the patience, or you can spread it out a little bit more. But 4 to 6 is about where you want to be in terms of meal times or meal frequency. Definitely protein, carbs, healthy fats. So you want your chicken, beef, eggs, fish, tofu. That's going to help repair the muscle after you break it down. Because when you go in the gym, you're not building muscle, you're breaking down the muscle. You need the protein to repair the muscle that you broke down. And then you have your carbs: rice, pasta, potatoes, oats for energy and muscle growth. Carbs give you quick energy, instant energy, right? So a lot of you aren't consuming enough carbs in order to train efficiently. So you need to start making sure you're getting a good amount of carbs in throughout your day in order to fuel training and to fuel muscle growth. And then healthy fats: avocados, nuts, olive oil to keep you full and to support your hormones and your overall health. We need fats, all right? We need fats in our diet. They play a role in our hormone production and our muscle growth for sure. Fats do not make you fat. Overconsumption of calories makes you fat, not fats. All right. Fats are just sustained energy, energy that you will use later on in the day. Carbohydrates is instant energy. Okay. Track your food. Use an app like MyFitnessPal to make sure that you are eating enough. You want to aim for a surplus of 300 to 500 calories per day, and not roughly, right? Like, just you don't necessarily have to hit 300 calories a day. Some people can grow muscle just eating in a surplus of 100 calories a day or 200 calories a day, right? But 300 to 500 is the ballpark of where most people should aim to be for when they're going from super skinny to jacked. And then this means you will be gaining muscle without putting on too much fat. Protein is key. Aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein per day. Now, this doesn't tie in with this video, but for somebody who's overweight, you don't need to eat that much protein. Just eat 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. Okay, so whatever body weight you want to get to, 1 gram per pound of that. But we're not talking about that in this video. Just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody needed that information. But for us skinny guys, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. All right, now we're going to dive into rest and recovery, because a lot of people like to focus heavily on the training and the nutrition, but they don't focus on their rest and recovery. Your muscles grow when you rest, not when you're working out, obviously. So it's crucial to get enough sleep and give your muscles time to recover between workouts. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. All right. Do the best that you can when it comes to recovery. Take your rest days when you need them. Don't go balls to the wall every single day. You're not doing yourself any favors. All right. I wish I knew this when I first started. I didn't understand how important sleep was until I did my first bodybuilding competition and I felt the effects of low sleep when I was pushing myself, right? Sleep is super important. If anything, it's just as important as your nutrition and your training, if not more. So make sure you are prioritizing your sleep. Stop going out every night. Stop staying up late. Stop staying up late, scrolling through TikTok, watching Netflix, whatever. Get your sleep. You need to grind. You need to lock in for this, right? You can't just go from skinny to jacked on accident. You have to lock in. You have to focus on your goal. Rest and recovery is one of your goals every night. So focus on that heavily. And the last thing that is probably more important than anything on this list, right? If you're not doing this last thing, Nothing else that I said today matters, and that is consistency. Getting jacked takes time. You're not going to see results after a week or a month, but if you stay consistent with your training and nutrition, you will see steady progress, right? Fitness progress is like this. It's a wave, right? It's never always up, it's never always down. Some weeks you're going to be down, some weeks you're going to be way up, right? But you have to trust the process. You have to blindly trust the process because there's going to be a lot of times where you don't want to do it, where you're tired, where you don't really feel like eating the good food anymore, or you don't feel like eating any more food, or you don't feel like going to the gym anymore. But those are the times that are going to make or break whether you will get to your end goal or not, right? Don't marry yourself to the outcome because at the end of the day, you don't know exactly what you're going to look like in a year or 6 months from when you start, right? Marry the process. Fall in love with the process. Really take you become the person that is jacked, even if you're still skinny, right? Identify as a person who is already there. Adopt the lifestyle because that's the lifestyle that you're gonna have to adopt for the rest of your life so that you don't go back to being skinny or you don't suddenly become fat, right? You want to maintain that the look, so you have to maintain the lifestyle. So don't focus on the outcome, focus on the process. So, with that being said, that was a video. I hope you guys got a lot of information out of this. I'm super happy to put this out. I love putting out information that is helpful to the masses. And even if one person watches this and changes their physique in a drastic way, then I did what I came here to do, right? So I will see you guys on the next video. By the way, link will be in the description for one-on-one coaching if you are interested. If not, if you don't want to work with me, cool. I'm sure there's somebody out there that you would like to work with, but I am working with people who want to go either from skinny to jacked or from fat to ripped. So, if you need that, tap in, links in the description. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.